Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the ARvibes Good Vibes podcast. This is a little bit different here today. This is going to be our first episode that's going to be video and audio. And we have a special guest for you joining us today. It's one of my best friends, one of my brothers, and an artist, Larry Deville. See him on the other side here. He's going to be joining us today. As you saw what I did with Mike Strong in one of the last interviews, I try not to call them interviews. I want to make them more open conversations and get you people in the community good feedback and pretty much stories and ideas of what Larry Deville has gone through to get to where he is today, why he produces music, how he produces music, and what drives him. We're going to talk about mindset, law of attraction, talk about God at some points, and we're going to talk all different types of things to really give you a little bit of his story, where he comes from, where he is today, and where he's going. With that, I'm going to pass it over to you, Larry. I want you to say a couple words about yourself. Say hi to the community. And actually, before you do that, Larry's also one of the founders of ARvibes. I didn't want to throw that out there too soon, but he's one of the founders. So he's been on with us since day one. He's been helping grow this organization and making it what it is today. And the biggest thing in his life, besides his beautiful daughters, though, is 100% his music career. Outside of that. And I love the music he makes, and we're going to get into it today. And if we're lucky, I haven't asked him yet, even though he's one of my best friends, maybe we can get a little sample of some new stuff. I know he's got new stuff. Maybe we can get a little sample tonight on the podcast.
I think
Larry,
that might be possible.
It's possible?
I could do that for you.
Awesome. Say what's up. Say what's up.
What's going on? What's going on? I want to say thank you for having this interview today.
Okay, sorry, brother.
No, I said I want to say thank you for having this interview today. I was glad that we finally got to do it.
Of course, man. Thank you. And actually, you know what? I'm going to give you a shout out as one of the founders. Even doing interviews, that was a big suggestion from you as one of my best friends. So I appreciate you, and I'm happy we're finally here as well. You've been very busy. I've been very busy. We talk all the time. Things have just kind of got in the way, and in reality, I've been slacking. So we're here, happy to be here, and I know it's going to be a good conversation. Let's just dive right into this. Let's go,
bro. Let's go.
I'm not going to make this too much question answer. So you saw the Mike Strong interview. That was the only interview I've done so far. We're going to do a bunch more going forward. But similar to that one, I'm going to ask different questions, and things will come up as we go through. But mainly, I just want to be an open conversation about all the topics we bring up and just let people know who you are and you know your mindset, what you think about different topics. So to start, what I would love for you to share with the community is like just a base story of who Larry Deville is, how you got into music. I know that can be you could talk for years about why you do music, where it comes from, but like just a high level, how you got into it, where it started, and why you do music. And tell people a little bit about yourself and why you do it.
I think that is like an easy question to answer. If you asked me that question like 10 years ago, I wouldn't be able to answer it as easy as I think I can now. First of all, my name is Larry. I'm many things. I'm a business owner. I own a barbershop. I'm a father. And I also have been pursuing music for the better part of like close to 15 years. Music has always been a huge part of my life. Whether it was my father or my grandfather, my uncle, my aunts, playing music, singing, has always been just a huge part of my life. And I was always like super uncomfortable with the idea of coming out of my shell and singing or doing anything in front of people as a child. And I'm talking like young. When I was young enough to not really have a conscience or like understand that people were watching what I was doing, and if I was good at it, like people wanted me to do it, like I never cared. Like my sister and I would be singing music and performing in the basement to like Michael Jackson and stuff as kids. And then when I started to hear it or like get to an age where I was like, oh my God, this is embarrassing, I stopped. I shelled up. But music was always a huge part of my life. I really like delved into music personally, like in private, in high school. and in like sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, fifth grade even, I always had like a fascination with like R&B and singers and stuff that I would listen to as a child, and I mimicked those voices and those artists and stuff that I grew up listening to, whether it was like as old as like New Kids on the Block and New Edition and Boys to Men and stuff, or as I matured a little bit and got into like artists like Joe and Genuine and Usher and stuff like that, and then it progressed more and more and more. I always kept music to myself, and I think at a certain age, I was real young. I was in high school and I had a long-term girlfriend. And this was like, I don't even know, probably like 5 or 6 years. But as a kid, I think we've all been in that position where like you have that first real relationship and you think it's forever. You know what I mean?
I don't mean to cut you off, brother, but you know me. I got tattoos from the first 6-year love. We live and we learn.
Yeah, for sure. But that's when music, as far as me being like an artist, like really came into fruition. So we went through I went through a breakup, and it's almost laughable now, but it was the most devastating thing like in my life. And one thing I started to do, to just to feel confident again and to feel like, you know, like, why am I hiding this talent? Why am I hiding this? And probably in a way to show off a little bit now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted that like validation.
Yeah.
And I knew I was a good singer, or at least decent. So I started releasing like little covers of songs when I was younger. And from then I started recording here and there with friends, and music is just taking me on this journey that I'm sure we'll get into. That is just, it's unbelievable, and it's an incredible, and it's like it's a freeing experience, and it's one of the most important things, other than like the obvious, my children. And I'm so proud of like my business and stuff and everything that I have. But music is the most important thing to me in my life.
It's the way you express yourself to the world. Like, you know me, I love music more than most people I've ever met. Like, when it comes to lyrics, we talk all the time. I'm always reaching out to like, Larry, like, have you seen this song? And like, of course I know that song. And I'm like, and these lyrics and what they mean, and like, that's what I love about your sense of style and your connection to music as well as a friend, because I have a lot of acquaintances, not a ton of friends, but the people I became friends with in my life. Yeah. That's one area we all connected on deeply was music. As weird as it is, like, and the minute I heard your music, I was like, oh my God, like, this is so, not only is this great music and it fits the genres I like, you hit multiple genres at different times, and it's very unique to the point where I'm going to bring this up nice and early in the interview. My sister has met Larry a few times. She was in my car one day, and we're going for a ride, and we're on shuffle, just playing all different tracks, all different artists. And a new song that Larry put out that she never heard came on, and we're just listening, and she goes, that sounds just like Larry. He's such a good singer. I'm like, that is Larry. And she goes, oh my God, she freaked out. Her next words were like, how does everyone not know him yet? Like, I can just pick him out of a crowd of artists by his voice. Like, he's unique. How do people not know him yet? And I'm like, people know him, but it's a process. And Larry, we'll talk about that later. I know you will, but I'll point that out. Like, we connected deeply on the music, and
big time. It is definitely a process.
I actually want to ask you, bro, when you kicked it off, you put a thought in my head. So a lot of these things, and I want to point this out to the ARvibes community, there's going to be a lot of things I may not know about you, even though we're friends. Like, we've talked about childhoods, we've talked about a lot, but another thing about Larry and I, we're very big about being aware, present, and in the moment. So, like, it's very rare we dig into each other's past. It's more if we're trying to help each other heal for something. Like, hey, let's dig the past here. It's like, we know you're going to live in the present and the future. Like, we go to the future and the present. We're always planning. That's another reason, we hit it off so well.
This is probably like one of the only times that we get to talk like not boys. You know what I mean? Like, it's either the kids or something else, and helping you and helping me, and it's never like this, like, delve into like the personal stuff.
Exactly, and unless it's like serious, unless one of us reaches out to the other one, like, hey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
but like what you said earlier, it stood out to me because I never knew this about you. Like the whole feeling awkward in your shell and not wanting to get out there. Like that's clearly anxiety and like low level depression coming in. And I wanted to ask you, like, I noticed like when I look at all different studies. You know me, I'm trying to learn something new every day. I've done a lot of research on those areas, and it starts off in children, and it's like, could you pinpoint if you're comfortable talking about it, like where
Yeah,
you went from being that kid that was so comfortable, like singing, dancing? Who
absolutely.
cares?
I know exactly. I know the exact moment. I know the
Is it
exact moment.
school and bullies? Like, let me talk
Nope.
about it. Like, where does it come from?
Nope. To be completely honest with you, my parents are divorced, right? My parents got divorced when I was young, and I think I knew that my parents were going to get divorced when I was young, like stupid young. But I have, like, regardless, I have like the most supportive parents.
Yeah, you do.
My mom and dad are whatever, but like they're the most supportive parents. And they were always like super supportive. And one thing that they always supported, even before I pursued it, was music.
Nice.
And it was always like, Larry sing, Larry dance. It was never an uncomfortable thing. But I can honestly remember, and I'm not placing blame, but the insecurity started with my sister. And my sister's probably like 3 or 4 years older than me, and we don't even talk anymore. But I always like looked up to my sister and admired her. And she always was super mad that I could sing as a kid. And I have this weird, like, I'm an epileptic and stuff. So I was on like stupid medication when I was a child. Comprehension wise, like I wasn't supposed to be able to read and write, and I wasn't supposed to be able to do these type of things. But my mom was on me. And the one thing that my brain like is always fixated to was sounds and music. So I wasn't even trying to sing. I just liked to imitate sounds.
Right.
Like I goof around all the time. Like I can do voices and but one thing that I really liked doing was singing, and I would tell my sister in the car, like, oh, I can sing like this dude, or I can sing like the guys from Boyz II Men, and I would do it, and she would get pissed. And I wanted her to like it, so her getting mad after a while, I was like, dude, fuck it. Like, I'm never going to sing again. I don't want anyone to ever hear me sing. And that's really, like, what started it for me as a kid. Because I was like, my dad is a music junkie. So, like, we'd be down in the basement, and that would be my thing. Like, he'd get home from school before I started playing sports. Like, he'd get home from work, rather, and I'd get home from school, and the first thing I'd want to do is, like, Dad, can we go downstairs and listen to Michael Jackson and all your music and, like, film me. I want to show you, like, I want to perform. That was my thing. We would do, and we had mad fun doing it. So it was never an issue. But that's really what started the insecurity. Is like, I think I wanted that validation from the most important person in my life, like my older sister. Like I wanted that, like, wow, you're good. And I never got it. So it was just like, it made me shell up and like resent what I was good at almost. You know what I mean?
It's funny you say that because something I've been paying attention to a lot more is
I've never told anybody that.
I've never heard it. Yeah, I've never heard that.
I've never told anybody that. But that's like really where it came from.
I get it. And it's like, what I was going to say is like on the spiritual aspect, like I'm looking at karma in many different aspects now. And a lot of people say karma is children. The children you produce are your karma, like for everything you've done. Like you're going to get the goods and the bads out of your children no matter what you've done. And it's like, huh, really? And when I started thinking of my family and down the lines, I'm like, wow, like that actually kind of makes sense at times. And it's weird when you start thinking about it. So I'm like, I have brothers and sisters. I'm one of 9, and you can see that no one. It's like you said, she wasn't really jealous, but she was in a sense where she's not going to tell you, I don't like you, that you can sing, I'm jealous. But you could sense that every time it was an issue. Like she always was jealous. Like me and my brother Bobby, we had issues like that. We wouldn't admit it. Me and my sister Gracie, like it was, I'm better than you at this. No, I'm better than you at this. And that's like, I feel like that's just a natural thing that comes in from the good and the bads in life, from the karma. Like it's just, you can't beat it. You get to a certain age and it's like, what I'm trying to point out is the negativity always comes into your life no matter what. I feel like I've never met anyone who's literally been positive and like living the life like law of attraction, manifestation, just happy forever. Like I don't think it's unrealistic. I think everyone gets depressed at some point. Everyone gets angry. Everyone gets jealous.
I think that's where depression comes from.
Yeah.
I mean, that in an unobtainable place, like you people want to achieve greatness, but greatness has like, you know, it has bad times and bad feelings and everything. You're not gonna just achieve that on this like clean, smooth slope. There's bumps in the road no matter what, no matter how high you are, how whatever you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, let me ask you, when it comes to like writing new material, new music, like I should know this because I listen to a lot of your songs, and a lot of your songs are good, like love songs, romance, positive messages. Like they're always good topics. I noticed, but there's also painful ones. Like I've heard painful ones, and like
Yeah.
what I want to ask is like we're talking about the alone part. Like you said, everybody wants that success, that fame. How do I get known? Not everybody, but a lot of people. Like, how do I get out there? But most people don't realize you're by yourself for a long time to make that a reality. Like you need to learn how to love you in your alone time.
Yeah.
And like I'm assuming, like, what causes you to write music more? Is it usually more pain? Is it usually more sadness? Or is it usually more like, oh, I'm living my life, I'm happy, and that just made me think of a song? You know what I mean? Like, what drives more inspiration to write, even whether it's good or bad? Like, from a young age, has it changed? You know what I mean? Like,
so like I mean, I haven't obtained like any level of, I shouldn't say that, but like the level of success that I've gotten or whatever, it is what it is. But as far as the writing stuff goes, I was thrown into this whirlwind, like from the gate. I think a lot of people, especially like, you know, kids from an urban setting, like I grew up in the city. So like naturally every kid thinks he can rap. Not every kid can sing though.
yeah, I know.
So, I mean, like, two things I can say is like, if you're serving anybody like yourself, like what you're doing, you started doing this for yourself. And in a sense, like you did it to like heal yourself or like help yourself. So like the same went for me. Like I started writing music for myself. And it was like, it was more poetry than it was music. Like the first songs I wrote were about like love and like pain and whatever. And then when you get I don't want to say like notoriety, but like when you get recognition, even if it's a small amount and people want more stuff, like I went from writing about me to writing about this person. And that's why you asked me in the beginning, you said, who is Larry Deville? And the most, it was done intentionally. But the best thing that I can say now is like that character is just me. Before, like when I started writing music, my name was Lorenzo.
Yeah.
It was Lorenzo T, and then it was Lorenzo, and then it was Renzo, and then it was, you know what I mean? Like it changed, and it
Hey, you got some great tracks as Renzo, by the way. Some of my favorites from your old stuff. But your new stuff's my favorite. But some of that old throwbacks as Renzo.
We'll get to that.
All right.
But when I reached a point about 3 or 4 years ago when I started working on this project called Lost in Boston. I was so tired. Like when you record, like if I'm at a studio, I'm getting mixes of a song. So I'll like go and work on a song, get a mix, get it sent to me. And I was getting just so tired of seeing the name Renzo and having people call me it, and my family, my friends, work and stuff. It was like, this thing is something that I created to get away from my reality, and now it's part of my life. So I was like having this like internal like struggle, and I'm like, yo, how do I get away from that? And we'll get to that too. But like I created like Larry Deville it's just like a very true name. Like it's my real name. Like if I ever make music, people are just gonna call me Larry, which is beautiful. I don't want anybody calling me some fake name.
Right.
And Deville, like I love like the nostalgia of like the 60s and 70s and like my grandparents and stuff like that. The 50s and 60s even. So like the Cadillac Deville and like everything that Cadillac stands for is like sleek and like clean cut and like old school like mafia shit, which I love. And Deville, like I'm from Somerville, Massachusetts, so like of the Ville, like Larry of the Ville. It's like it's just through and through. Like it's just me. There's no fake persona that comes along with it, and you hear that in the music too. So like this change in the music, it was just like a way for me to finally just make music about me and not pretend to be a character for people.
Is it much easier writing when it's real and authentic and about Larry?
So
It must
I
just flow.
mean,
It must actually. Do you get into flow state? Because I would say it must just flow when you're talking
yeah,
naturally about who you are. You must be in
absolutely.
flow state.
So I mean, like the story goes, like I was working on music by myself for a long time, and I met someone at a studio one night, and I remember this kid from high school. I was a freshman and he was a junior, and I remember like these kids used to freestyle outside every day, and this kid who ended up being like a brother to me, but at first glance like you would be petrified of this kid. My friend Leonis, who was in a fire, he suffered like third-degree burns like all over his entire body as a child. So growing up, Leonis had burns like all over him. So it's not, he's the nicest kid in the world, but he was never like a very approachable person if you didn't know him. But I remember this kid and other kids that I went to school with, and they would freestyle every day. Now fast forward to like me starting to make music and really starting to get into the studio every day almost. And he showed up one night. And me and Leonis just hit it off. He had this cadence and this flow, and I had this delivery, and I'm a white kid that's in an urban setting. And it just worked. And we just meshed. But Leonis was one of the best writers I've ever. He was the best. He was the second best writer I've ever worked with in my life. But Leonis and I had a lot of success like immediately. The first song we did was a song called Beam Me Up, I'm on Fire. And that song, Leonis wrote the hook on. We got together and we made it better. And then I laid down a verse and he laid down his verses. And before we know it, this song took us to who is now the biggest producer in the world. We were working pretty much in the area that we grew up in Somerville, and we had the opportunity to work with this guy at the time. His name was Lou Balls in Quincy. And Lou was just like this little dude, and he just had this crazy energy to him. When we went and meet him the first day, I was legit like paranoid, like on the Illuminati shit. Like, bro, like this is crazy. Like I'm doing like I was so paranoid, and I was so new to music, and like what is happening? Like what is going on? And we ended up formulating like this very close, really great relationship with Lou, who is now known as Louis Bell in the industry, who has done insane things and works with every Post Malone and you name it, Justin Bieber. He works with like the likes of those people. But in working with him and Leonis, I went from writing soul, like stuff that came from me in my life, to really writing like cookie cutter stuff that wasn't really about my life. It was more like, how do we make a song that's a hit? And not like music was an outlet to me, and it turned into a job really quick. And once the notoriety came and the potential to get signed and all this stuff, and working with this guy and like getting, you know what I mean, booked and all this crazy stuff, being in rotation. I don't know any artists in Boston really that have been in rotation on a Clear Channel radio station like Jammin'. And for a long time, we were in rotation. Like we weren't calling in and forwarding our song. The DJs, DJ Pup Dog and stuff like that, Third developed, Leonis, his name is Third, developed a really close relationship with them to the point where we were in rotation for a good amount of time. So immediately, like I said, we went from kids making music to like, yo, we could really do something with this. And then the pressure built up. So personally, I do like to write music by myself. And when I do, like, there's no question. like the flow state is immediate. Like as soon as we get to work, like it's like I just, you know, had just like smoked a J and it's coming over me or something like that. Like it's immediate. Like,
can I take this a little into left field? Well,
yeah, go ahead.
left field. So I'm big on flow state. You know this. For any of our followers that want to learn more about flow state, go on our YouTube channel. If you're watching this right now, you're probably on our YouTube channel. We have a whole video on flow state, what it is and what it does for you. And it's the most beautiful thing I've ever learned in positive psychology and what it does for you. But Larry, one of the biggest connections I've been making recently with flow state is, in my own personal view, I've changed my view on it. It's God, in my opinion. Like, it's God putting you into slow motion. That's how I look at it. Like, God almost takes over for you because you decide to give your whole self up and risk. Like, and I want to define something about flow state. Like, they say that the best ways to get into flow state are to write music, to do extreme sports. Danny Way is a skateboarder who jumped over the Great Wall of China to set a record with a broken freaking ankle. He jumped the Great Wall of China with a broken ankle, landed it to break a record. He literally described flow state on everything he did and didn't know what flow state was. And to me, like, I also bring it back to, like, let's say something that's not a risk, something you're not trying to get into flow state like you are when you're writing, a car accident. You don't plan a car accident. It's slow motion, but I've never met a single person who's told me they've gotten into a car accident and didn't go into a flow state. Slow motion, just lose sense of self real quick, sense of reality. I've never met a single person that's gone into a car accident and hasn't experienced it. So what I want to ask you is, what do you feel about God, essentially? Not a whole run on it, but like, what do you feel about God? Do you feel like God is what puts us into a flow state? Because positive psychology still can't really figure it out. They're beating around the bush with it's risk, it's doing new things, change. I think it's God, and it's for me. I've gotten that impression by getting into flow state almost at tap, like you're saying, like when you're writing your music. So give me your view on that. I want to hear your intake.
I mean, as far as like my take on flow state, hold on. Yeah, I think it's something learned. If not being thrown into it, like in an accident or something like that, I think it's something that your body naturally learns how to do over time, for something that you're searching for. As far as like the religious aspect of it, I was brought up Catholic, and I learned immediately, like into my adult age, like as a teenager, a young adult, into my early 20s, that like that I believe a lot of it, but it's just not for me.
Right.
I'm not really with the whole fear mongering stuff. In my journey, like spiritually or whatever, as a person, like I reached a point like in flow state or just in like a heightened consciousness where I was like, what I believe in is mind, body, and soul. And I believe that they're separate parts. And I believe like this is just what do they call it? This is just the machine.
The
like
car.
This body.
The thing we get into to operate us, to let us do things, to let us create.
Right.
Yep.
And I think that like your mind is like a computer. Like it's like the computer. You know what I mean? Like you're able to your brain is able to tell your body to speak and do this.
Right.
And this is a really good example, I think, that I could say. Like right now, I'm just speaking.
Right.
I'm not thinking about what I want to say, and that's your soul. And it's like the most unique thing. This conversation could never be replicated, like where we are right now in this time, place, and all this stuff. Like the feeling that we have, like this, you can't replicate this ever again. This is a moment in time, and it's one of one. But I think that's your soul, and I think that's what God is. I think like God is not like this misconception that like he's like this guy with a beard that is like gonna smite you, or gives you things, or like helps you and navigates you. Like like that when you can be like your truest self, I think that's your God consciousness and your ability to be in touch with like who you really are as a person, and your ego and all this outside stuff, like it doesn't allow you to tap into that unless you really have these kind of moments. And when I make music, like I suffer from depression and anxiety a lot of stuff. But like in that state, my anxiety goes away, dude. Like I know my kids are cool. I know everything's, and that's what I do. And it allows me to tap into this flow state. It's a learned experience. Like I know how to write melodies. I know how to make words work and all this stuff. But the difference between myself and other people that make music is, like, to be honest, like I do it really well. And I think it's because my ability to tap into that place, that consciousness, or that flow state.
I love that. I love how you explained it too. That's like, it's the perfect way to explain it. Now I wanted to add to that, like, we have senses. The only way our brain knows anything, and I was watching a TED Talk the other day, and it was fascinating. And I already knew these things, but we were talking about the brain, and they pointed out your brain's in a dark skull. It can't see light. It doesn't hear. It doesn't know anything. The only way your brain processes and makes predictions about reality is the senses that we have: the smells, the taste, the touch, the vision. And that's all thanks to that one beautiful thing in the sky, essentially, that sends everything out. The rays of light, the vibrations. It's a beautiful thing, man. I love that you pointed that out. And how you described it was awesome too. Let me ask you this. Going back to the music.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So we talked about how you write your music, where it comes from. Well, let me ask you this. How often do people, I'm trying to find the best way to word this. What is like the biggest like turn off when it comes to making music, in a sense? Like I can picture, and we've never talked about this, but I'm genuinely curious. Like I can picture it being frustrating when people are constantly coming to you, like, do this, do that, do this. Like if you were in a relationship, let's say, with a girlfriend, and she's like, make me a song, make me another song. I need another song. Like I watched an interview with Kevin Hart, and a different comedian, and it's a whole different industry, but they talked about like, that is like you were talking about Renzo earlier. That's what people see them as, and that's it. Like Kevin Hart like hates that he goes out in public, and only thing people want to see is, tell me a joke. Like, take a picture, tell me a joke. And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, nah.
Tell you a joke right now. I do that every day. Like how I'm doing today.
Yeah. I can't remember who I can't remember who it was, but they mentioned that. To be honest with you, bro, I think it might have been like The Rock or something like that.
Yeah.
But they were like, he was like, it just sucks. Like at a certain point, like in meeting people, and like, I wish somebody would be like, bro, like, how was your day? Or like, like, what do you know what I mean? Like, treat me like a person, not like a thing, you know? Like that sucks, dude. Like, it sucks to have people like who don't know who you are and stuff, like think they know who you are and think that all you are is like a voice and all this shit. Like it is weird.
Like, you know what that leads into? Like, you know what ARvibes is all about: positive and mindset and law of attraction, manifestation. But let me ask you this: when it comes to the biggest fears with becoming famous, like, I know you have the content, the quality, the skill set. You have great production. You know how to get your music out there. You've been on tour already. You've done shows. The only reason you're not famous right now, and I know this as your friend, so I'm throwing it out there, is there's got to be some type of fear in there, but I might not. We never talked about it. I can feel it. So, like, I want to ask you, like, what are the biggest fears that do hold you back, or like maybe make you scared to get to the highest peak? And what do you do to overcome that while you know you're going to keep getting bigger? Because you can't keep putting out good music and not get bigger. So it's like, what are the biggest fears, and how do you overcome them while you keep chasing that passion and that dream without getting stuck in the trap, you know?
I think that like fear has changed. Initially, there was none, and that was my best time. When it really started to roll and the snowball effect started to happen, I think the biggest fear was not necessarily not making it, because I would have been fine with anything. I think the biggest fear was like the ignorance that came along with like where we were going, like this uncharted, unknown land, and in you know the stories you hear of like artists just getting taken advantage of. Like, what am I getting myself into? That was like my biggest fear going into it. And then I had children, and this real irrational fear of leaving my kids and being a bad father, or like my kids resenting me for leaving and not being around and all that stuff. And I think like now at the position that I'm in, like I have 2 children, I'm a single father. I see things a lot different now, and I feel like the opportunities I passed up then, had I passed them up at the point that I'm at now, I wouldn't. I feared so much, like being 10 years down the line and like not having my kids, or like where they'd be, or they wouldn't know who I am and all this craziness. And in reality, like that would never have happened.
Right.
So I
it
think it's
helps
just
you back to then.
the fear of like unknowing in every level, like what's going to happen, stuff with my kids, my personal life, just a lot of things.
Bro, and I love that you say that, because that's beautiful. It goes outside of the whole conversation of that is like the biggest fear for everybody, is the unknown. Like I was reading a book, I forget which book it was, but I was reading a book, and they were talking about fear and why fear holds us back and causes depression and anxiety. And fear is one of the things that ruins your root chakra, your base chakra. And one thing I noticed is the biggest fear most people have is death. When in reality, if you start to seek out what life is, you won't be afraid to die. And when you're afraid to die, you're afraid to get hurt. If you're afraid to get hurt, you're afraid to take a risk. You get what I'm saying? Like, fear is what will hold everybody back. And if, people will be in bad relationships and they won't leave them because of the fear of, how do I pay my bills? How do I sleep by myself every night? People will have a horrible boss, ruining their life, making them miserable, working 70 hours a week. How can I get another job? Like, fear will make people do irrational things as well. Like, I'm going to ruin my own life because of fear. You get what I'm saying? And that, like you said, that ties into all aspects of fear. It doesn't have to do with just music, but like, as you know too, like it's part of flow state. It's part of being successful. If you want to do things that are going to take you out to the next level, you got to think that you're afraid of, no matter what.
You have to step out of your comfort zone.
Like, I'm talkative. Even doing these interviews, the first time I made, forget the interviews, the first time I made video content, I was shocked at how nervous I was doing it. I'm like, why are you so nervous? You're not even live right now. Like, you're recording. Like, calm down. You talk all the time. I do another take, and I'm like, that's horrible. Like, I'm literally nervous. Like, going off topic, I was just at my mother's house having dinner with her new boyfriend and he has so much music stuff downstairs in his house. It was fascinating. You're going to have to come over someday. And we're doing karaoke and singing songs. He's ripping up his guitar, and he's like, sing a song. I'm like, all right, you know me. I sing all the time. I'm not an artist. I love singing. I karaoke in my house all the time. Dude, I get on the microphone, and I'm like, not stuttering, but I'm like, I'm not singing good. My voice is really shaky. And I'm like, dude, are you nervous singing in front of your mom and her boyfriend? Like, really? And I'm like, stop. And then he starts singing, like, wicked loud and wicked confident. He's like, come on, bud, you need some confidence. You need confidence. I'm like, dude, I preach and teach everybody confidence. I'm like, I'm in this. And then we were belting on songs. It was beautiful. But it was like, again, I questioned myself, like, dude, what are you doing? But singing for people is in the unknown for me fully. You know what I mean? Like, I don't sing to people like that. You do it for like you do it. Talking to people, this is easy for me. But in the initial beginning, it was so difficult, like, just to get past the hump of, you're making a video, calm down. It's good. People might like it. Like, and that goes for every aspect. Like, fear is a big thing for success. Like, what else you gonna say about fear and getting past, like, anything else on fear? Like, I talked a lot about
it is definitely like a crippling thing, but it's like the devil's gift. You know what I mean? It's this fake thing that like everyone faces. And you know what the funniest thing that I've always said to myself too is, like, those things that I feared the most always are the best feelings in the world.
Yep. When you
know
do
what I mean?
you pass them, yeah.
Yeah, dude, like heights, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have a fear of heights. Have you ever jumped off like a really, really high, like, bridge or whatever into water, or gone down like a crazy like water slide or something like that? It's the illest feeling.
Yep. When you're done, you're like, I'm happy I did it. Every time. Yeah. You know what that is, bro? That's the science behind it. That's dopamine and serotonin rushing. Like, again, I'm going to God on this one, but we can go to science or God. When you do things that are risky and uncomfortable, you get instant rewards, and you can back that up through music. You do way more risky things than I do in your industry, putting your music out there in your life, and sometimes like I know you know what I'm saying. It's instant gratification. Like I
Absolutely.
give it to God. That's just me. I ask God, like He says, do this, and I'm like, I don't want to do it. Just do it, and I do it, and right away, I'm like, it's like a beautiful rush of like energy, like good job, and it's like I'm happy I did it, and I know you know what I'm talking about. It's a beautiful feeling.
Absolutely.
And you get it every time you do new things that are uncomfortable. You just gotta do it and just get comfortable with it. Try it.
Yeah. A lot of the times, like we've made, like every producer I've worked with, like there's been a moment like where we've worked on stuff and we're like both like, whoa, bro, like the vibration is just so high, like the energy from the song, like what we just created, and like you get it, you know what I mean? Like I think you tap into this like place, and I think music is such a cool thing, because it's the only thing that humans create really from nothing.
Like
so I believe that there's this space that you channel when you create music, and it sounds stupid.
no, it doesn't. I
Or
get
it
it.
might
It's another
sound
realm,
weird,
another
but for a
dimension.
long time, I was writing songs, and I don't go to a studio with a song ever anymore anyway. I just go, and we don't have anything when I get there, and we create something from scratch. And
Like,
I'm more comfortable doing things that way. But for a long period of time, I think it was like for like 6 months to like a year, I was writing these songs, and sometimes they were generic names, sometimes they weren't, but I was writing these songs out of nowhere, and in a week or in a month, like that title would be a big song like on the radio or something like that. And it was weird, and it started to make me think like, bro, I went and I just created this piece of art like from nowhere, and it made me feel like I'm channeling into like this area, this creative, like unseen area, and like these melodies or these things are coming out. And a lot of the times it wasn't even the title. It was just like, bro, like this is the melody that we created. And me and my producer would sit down and be like, yo, what the, like, what? I was just with my producer a couple, maybe it wasn't even a year ago, but I went down and I was like, dude, like, this is the song that I want to kind of replicate. And it was a T-Pain song, and I had no clue, but T-Pain made this song called Rest in Peace to the Parking Lot on his last album. And I showed my producer, and he was just pissed. I'm like, why are you mad? Like, what is wrong? And he's like, dude, I just made this. And I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? And he showed me the track that he made, and it was literally the same exact, like they used the same melody, they used the same thing from this website called Splice, like, and it was just weird because like at a certain point in time, they were in that same creative place, like that same strange like creative zone. So,
bro, that's not weird to me at all. I hope you know that. Like, and you know how spiritually connected I tell people I am, I feel, and most of my followers don't know me personally. A lot of them from around different places. You know me personally. Like, I love spiritual aspect of life, and I know for a fact that I get into another realm every time I talk to God, and it's I can see sign everywhere, and I feel like that's the same realm you're in, because I think you get into it. And actually, matter of fact, how many times I reached out to you like, I need to write a song, and you're like, what? And I don't even make music. Like 4 or 5 times, I'm like, I need to write a song. Like, God's telling me I need to write a song, and I'll come up with awesome topics, but then I get a beat, you give me tips, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't what I'm doing. Never mind. But I get this. I'm telling you, there is another place when you connect, and things get fed to you, and that's a part of flow state. Like information richness, information just flows in. Like, I've been telling people it was maybe 2-3 weeks ago. I sat in my living room and I did like a 6-hour meditation. No lie. the next day I sat there and listened. God just kept telling me, research this, research that, research this. I just kept going. And in the end, I knew so many things that it like blew my mind. I couldn't explain it to myself. Like I just learned like 3 years worth of stuff in like 2 days. Like what happened? I couldn't explain it, but I still kept getting that feeling of like the presence laughing at me. Like, isn't that awesome? And I'm like, no, what just happened? Like, how do I know these things? And I feel like music's different because you're not getting taught things, but it's like you're getting fed. Like the ideas just start flowing in. You're like, oh, this is cool. I wasn't thinking about that. Like, am I making sense there? It sound like the same area you're talking about?
Yep.
Yeah. It's awesome. I love it. Let me go a little more. I do. Those are my favorite things to talk about. I want to ask you this though. What do you have core beliefs or core values that you live by? Because like I feel like most people I've ever met that are creators like to do different things and create different things and use their consciousness and try to be more conscious versus subconscious and more aware and present. I feel like they're usually really good people. I've met some people who are bad people who live that way, and they usually do really bad things. But on the good end, I feel like, get where I'm trying to go here. I don't even know what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like music goes, I definitely try to now, like as an adult, like as a father or whatever, like having gone through a lot of fucked up shit. I definitely try to put that message in because so many people, like where I grew up in Somerville, and like the amount of creative people that are dead that I grew up with is like, it is insane.
Yeah.
I grew up with like a lot of great people that had so much potential that never tapped into it. So a lot of people from where I grew up, they look at what I did or they look at what I do, and I know that a lot of people do, and they're like, you know, it's humbling to know that people like, not, I don't want to say idolize, but like look at what you do and they're like, damn, I wish I could do that.
Right.
And I try to put that message out that like, yo, you can. Like, I didn't do anything special. You know what I mean? Like, I stopped worrying so much about what people would think, and I just started doing what made me happy. Like, there's a reason why I wake up every day and I don't wake up ever and say like, fuck, I gotta go to work. Like, I'm sure if I fucking had 10 beers and I don't want to wake up because I'm hungover or I'm tired because I was up all night doing an interview or whatever, like, I'm sure there's moments where I'm like, yo, fuck, man, I have to get up. But there's never a moment where I'm like, I hate my job. Like, I love what I do. I love my career. I love that I get to go to my building that I made and work with people that I hired that aren't employees. Like, they're family to me. Like, I don't have this professional, corny, make pretend, superficial environment. And then when I leave, like, I have these two amazing little children that like are my world, that I like to hang out with more than my friends. And then when I don't have them, like, I have, you know, the ability to have my very few friends, or like I can go do things that I truly like enjoy. There's not a moment that I don't like really enjoy the stuff that I do.
And I know how genuine that is too, because like, what do I say about your shop? I'm like, I've seen barber shops everywhere. Like, yours is like very like flashy in a nice way. Like, you took your time to make it yours, like, and make it stand out and make it like eye appealing to the customers that go in and enjoy what the look and feel of it and the quality of cuts that you do. Like, I've seen it. I've been in there with you. And like you said, before you even said it, what's funny is I was thinking I was going to bring it up and say, like, and your employees are your family. Like, you don't just hire people and give them a job. Like, you make sure they bond with you. You make sure it's a good group and you guys connect. I met Willie, I met Tim, Will, a few of your employees just being your friend, like, not even at the shop, like at cookouts. I'm like, oh, they work here. What's up, guy? Like, and then I bond well with them. And that speaks volumes to you, because I read their energy and I'm like, dude, they're just like I can see how Larry connects with them. I can see how they are friends. Like, it just makes sense every
It's
single
cool.
time. It is. It's a beautiful thing.
but that's just how I like live my life, man.
Yeah.
And like that perception. I think it'd be funny to talk about like my lack of success or like inability to connect with people in music for the
Yeah.
same reason that you and I didn't really connect.
So is it me, how I judged you at first, or you're judging? All right, let's get into it. So Larry and I meeting, we were neighbors. That's how it started. And I lived there first. Larry moved in after. At the time in my life, this is years ago. The time in my life, I've never been a judgmental person, but I gone through periods of time where I grew up in a city as well, where I've seen all different types of people. And I'm an energy guy. I'm a healer. I can read everything. Like, I can read people. So I usually can tell. But sometimes your ego gets in the way. And until you learn to get rid of your ego, it will do its thing and it will find its way in there at times. And I'm happy Larry said that earlier too, because everyone has ego until you learn to get rid of your ego and your beliefs. Like, it's there until you get rid of it. You're raised with an ego. It's up to you to get rid of it. So first time I see Larry, he drives up in this nice Infiniti, parks, gets out dressed all flashy, nice. I'm like, look at this guy. Doesn't look over and say hi. So I just instantly judge him. And I'm like, oh, he's too cool to say hi. Whatever. I won't say hi either. He goes in. See him again one other time. We don't say hi to each other. And what's weird about that is now that I've known him for years, we're both opposite people. Like, I love saying hi to people, and so doesn't he. Like, it's weird that we wouldn't say hi to each other, because we're both, in my head, I'm sitting there thinking, like, I'm not this guy. I'm just going to say what's up to him and be like, see, why is he being a prick? And then he's probably thinking the same exact thing, like, why is this guy being a prick? I'm just going to say what's up to him. But then anyways, I get home one night from hockey. I had a hockey game. I bring my stuff out, and I see him walking to his car with a hockey stick. And I'm like, yo, you play hockey? That's how it started. He's like, yeah, you play hockey? I'm like, yeah. Where do you play? We ended up playing against each other one time. Then we ended up being on the same team. But let's be real. The minute we found out we both played hockey, we started talking right away, and we became boys instantly. Like, it never went away. And then I had to tell him that I judged him. I was honest about it. I'm like, bro, I thought you were a dickhead for no reason. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. I think that happens a lot.
Speak on it. What else you got on it?
Oh, nothing. I just thought it was funny. You know what I mean? And I honestly, like, you say that, and I don't ever think that I saw you and like was like, I ain't talking to this kid. I don't even think I did that. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like literally,
it was me.
The relationship that I was in. Like, I was getting ready to go in to a house and walk into hell. So it was like, my car rides are so peaceful, and I knew that when I was going into the house that it was like, it wasn't there. You know what I mean? And that's probably
I learned that later in life when we became boys.
And that's probably what you saw. You know what I mean? But I feel like I have that issue with music, because it's like, every time I record, and I'm not like, I don't even give a shit, but like, I don't ever have a moment where I've ever worked with a producer where I haven't gone in and have the producer be like, this motherfucker. Like, oh, here he comes. Fucking another rapper, another white.
Judging you. Yep.
Yeah. And I don't think I've ever had a moment where I haven't worked with somebody and they were like, wait a minute. Like, once I work, they're like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. Like, I never would have. And I'm like, dude, I don't even fucking want to do that. I don't even want to.
Yeah, it kills your vibe.
Yeah, I don't even like that shit. But that happens to me so much. Like, even in networking and stuff, it's just like the music industry is so hard. In the talent isn't the primary. It's not of the most importance. It's not the most important thing anymore. You know what I mean? Like, the talent that you carry isn't the most important thing.
I think something that might stand out for you in the future, bro, just the way we are in the world now, is doing more online content. Like, one of my favorite things about your music that isn't even your music is when I'm on my Instagram and I start scrolling, and all of a sudden it says Larry Deville. I'm like, what's Larry doing? And you're covering songs and just, like, I think you call it karaoke.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite things watching you do. I honestly think you should try that one night with your own music, not other people's music. Just get on and just start singing to people for fun. Just use your passion and your energy. Like, we're in a new world where social media might be your way to get where you need to go, because you're not going to worry about them judgmental people and Just
I
use that
literally
as
just
an
did
exercise.
that today.
Huh?
I literally just did that on the way home today.
Good. I didn't even see it. That's why when I brought it up, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I was on live.
Nice, bro.
I know. I'm lazy and I'm dejected and I'm like,
I am too with ARvibes, so we gotta work on it.
yeah, I know.
We gotta work on it. Well, I know it's getting late for you too, but before we wrap this up,
I'm cool.
we want to hear Larry Deville music. But before we hear Larry Deville music, anything you want to talk about to the community, Larry, you're one of the founders. You're gonna be very big in the world. I already know this. You already know it. People who have heard your music already know it. Before you get there, any like big message like that you personally think the followers should hear or understand about their own journey, like just from your own experience, and then like just like any big message you want to portray to the followers, and then let's hear some brand new tracks that no one knows yet.
I don't know, man. I think I don't know, as far as like my music and myself as a person, if I had to say like what my message is, it's definitely that like what even in the shop, like I have I don't even think I have it here, but like my logo for the shop is it's a guy with a mustache and a bowler on, like an old guy in a suit and tie, but he has no face. And everyone's like, why don't you put eyes on that thing? And I'm like, I thought about it, dude, and it didn't look good. But I was like, why didn't it look good? And to me, it's just like, because it's like a faceless gentleman, like anybody can be somebody. I think that is like the tall tale sign with me is just like, whatever you want to do it. Like, I'm 32 now. You know what I mean? When I started making music, I was 21, 22. That's a long time, bro. You know what I mean? In all
You've been doing it longer than that, bro.
But the hesitation is not necessary.
Yeah.
The 12 years of hesitation, like, just for like kids that are coming up or like kids that don't want to, like, you know, I hated fucking school growing up, but no one ever told me that was okay. You know what I mean? No one ever told me
like chase passion instead.
Yeah. If somebody told me that I could like be okay at school and still be a successful person, I think I would have made a lot of different decisions. You know what I mean? And the decision's not to like drop out of school or say fuck your teachers. It's like the pressure of succeeding in school, because if you don't, you won't succeed in life, like wouldn't have been there. You know what I mean? I feel like that is like, I don't know, dude. I think like that's just
it's a broken system for sure.
Yeah, for sure. No, it doesn't even have to do with the school system, but just like in reality, like in your life, like everybody wants to do something, dude. Yeah. And I hate hearing people say like, I couldn't do that, bro. Like, what do you think? You know what I mean? Like, I know people who are so happy at this point in their life, like in their 40s and 50s, that started over.
Yeah.
You know what
Dude,
I mean?
Can I pause you there? Because that's big. And for my followers, our followers that have been following us, I need to point this out every time I say it. I am not religious. I just love God. I'm very connected to God. Jesus is awesome. Buddha is awesome. Here's Buddha for you. I love Muhammad. I love them all. But my point is, I love what I've learned in religion, but I understand what religion is bad. Like Larry Deville said earlier about being raised Catholic. At some point, he saw the bad in it and didn't enjoy what he was following anymore. He had to find a way to seek new. But what I want to point out is, I might get this verse wrong from the Bible. I don't have a Bible in front of me, but it's something that was said along the lines of getting rid of malice, deceit, jealousy, all the bad in you, like getting rid of it, and it says literally, be like a newborn baby and crave pure spiritual milk. And I took that line in that Bible so deep because that's part of Buddhism, Hinduism, all of them. It's the only way to be fully happy in life and like literally beat depression, anxiety, all those things is to be born again. And I'm not talking religion, born again, dunk me in the water, take me out. That is not reborn again. That's you thinking you are reborn again, and you're still the same brain, the same mindset, the same soul, nothing changed. You're going to hate your life still. When you're reborn, you literally say, I don't know anything. Everything I believe could be wrong. I learned it somewhere. Someone told me to believe this. Everything I think about God, someone else told me when I was a child. Everything I thought about school system is what I went through and what I saw. You get what I'm saying?
I read a quote yesterday That was so, it was so like interesting to me. It was like, remember when you were kids and you looked at older people as adults, and in seeing people as adults, you looked at them like adulthood comes with a certain age. And then as you grow up, you realize that there's no such thing as adults. It's just kids who got older and had kids of their own.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like this
Yeah.
idea that like maturity comes with age, or wisdom comes with age, or success comes with age is just such like it's a rat race, dude. It comes with experience.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and you don't experience anything unless you actually fucking get out there and experience the things that you want to experience.
You have to.
You know what I mean?
You gotta seek, and again, starting over, like you said, start over. Like, take a step. Whether you think meditation's weird, anything, take a step back and at least sit by yourself in a room and just say, am I happy with my job? Am I happy with my relationship? Am I really happy with where I live and what I do? What are my biggest passions that I've never followed in my life that I always wish I did? Because you're going to regret it if you don't.
I don't necessarily think that like taking that route, it's just such like a radical idea. That's just my perception. But it's like that approach is just such a radical idea. My mom and I had a conversation, and she works in a doctor's office. And my mom's from Portugal. Like, my mom came here when she was younger. Her and her family like left Portugal in the middle of the night and snuck on a plane pretty much to come here and get the fuck away from Portugal, who was at war and didn't allow their citizens to really do shit. So, you know, moderate education and never went to school, but always hustled her ass off. And she's at a position now where she has like a decent job. She likes, you know, she's good at what she does and she likes her job, but she also doesn't have a career that she wants. You know what I mean? But what she does to make her job more enjoyable, dude, is just like, she doesn't get caught and trapped in like the mundane, repetitive, aggravating part of work. Like, she goes above and beyond at work. Or you know what I mean? So like saying like, are you happy at your job? Are you happy in your relationship? Are you like encouraging people to quit things?
I gotcha.
You know what I mean? I don't think that that's an intelligent way.
It's risky, very risky. Yeah, no, I gotcha.
It's just as bad as avoiding, you know, like your issues. But
right,
like, if you're in a failed marriage, you know what I mean? Like, I'm so old school, dude. If you're in a relationship with somebody that's not working, like, I think it's a lot easier to just be like, hey, it's not working, like, fuck this, as opposed to like, hey, why is this not working?
Exactly.
What am I doing wrong? You know what I mean? Like, having that ego death and like that internal conversation with yourself, like, yo, what am I doing wrong with my personal life? What can I change? Because I had this conversation with my kid's mom all the time, and it's like we are arguing for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, after a while, like after a long period of time with arguing, like, I get to a point where I'm like, Jesus, this is so boring and tiring. Yeah. Like, what? You know what I mean? And it's like, what are we doing? Like, so to get to a point where you're like, yo, like, do we have to do this anymore? And to actually act upon it and do it and change, I feel like if you apply that to like any aspect of your life, you'll end up, you can do anything and be happy. You know what I mean? You don't have to like seek out, you know, I want to have a fucking hot dog stand in Manhattan because that's like a dream. And I'm going to leave and do, like, I don't think that you have to do that. I think you can work towards your goals and your dreams and aspirations, and in time put yourself in a position. But like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
150%. Yeah. Like, it's, and I love what you said. So I don't think I was really trying to imply like leave things, but like, you have to take a step back and ask those questions to yourself. Like, am I happy in all areas? Like,
yeah.
And if you don't, you're just going to keep going through the same patterns and same bads, and like, why does this keep happening to me?
Well, yeah, you attract that stuff to your life. You know what I mean? We were talking about that earlier too, like the law of attraction and stuff like that.
The law of attraction is beautiful, and it's something that
I feel like it can be bad though, dude. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a terrible thing.
You gotta the thing is, everyone that teaches the law of attraction, The Secret on Netflix, the book The Secret, celebrities when they talk about it, they always give you the basics, like attracts like, negative attracts negative. Say thoughts become things. Say things and they become reality. Like, that is more than true. But when you don't understand the deepness of it and how it works and how you feel when you say, how that impacts what happens. If you're very happy, joyful, positive, and grateful when you say, I want this, the odds of it happening, manifesting increase by like 80% to I'm depressed, I'm angry, I'm mad, and I say, God, or look, universe, I need $1 million. He's going to laugh at you. I'm like, what the hell do you need $1 million for? You hate everybody. Why would I give you
I take that and like I go a little bit different with it, where it's like when you're manifesting positivity, you're more inclined to do the things that you think about and take the chances to do them. Yeah. But if you're like sitting there bro, like depression is a real thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I deal with it, bro. Like anxiety is a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the things that I worry about don't exist.
Yeah.
But like I get myself to a point where I'm like, not only do they fucking exist, but they're and it's like you can manifest that negativity into your life. And I'm speaking from experience, like,
oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I've been doing it recently, so I get it, and I've had to stop myself and be like, and literally like what you're saying, I had to stop myself and sit down and be like, why are these negative things coming up right now? And I had to look at my shoppers. Like I have a picture of shoppers, so that's why I'm looking over it. And I had to say, all right, this shopper is 100% not balanced. And
I got you them, you bum.
Fear of this, huh?
I said I got you them, you bum.
I know, yeah, you did. But like I can use that to figure out like if it's a fear that's causing me to think negatively, or if it's a lack of confidence making me think negatively. Like
with me, it's like an insecurity thing.
Huh?
I said with me, it's like an insecurity thing.
Yeah, yeah, and that relates to one of your shoppers still. Like that's what I'm saying. For me, I can always relate when I start seeing negative things in my life to my shoppers. I'm like, why? And even if it's other people, I'm like, why are these other people acting like this? And then I'll be able to put it on myself, like, oh, all right, maybe I'm influencing it this way. And it helps you. And the ego death, I love that you said that. That's huge. Like, it's the biggest thing that holds us back, ego. Like, and people that understand ego and cocky and like confidence are all different things. Like, I've had people literally call me out, Larry, like, you talk about God way too much. It's fake. And I got to say things like, I understand that I didn't have this connection with God 4 years ago. But it's not fake. You just don't understand what's happening. You know what I mean? Like, and that comes off as ego at times too. Like, oh, he thinks he's the only person that can talk to God. No, not at all. I'm trying to tell everybody they can do the same exact thing I'm doing.
It's just because it's not a tangible. It's not a tangible thing.
Exactly. So it comes off as like
it's confusing. If you were like, bro, I fucking love cooking, and you didn't shut up about cooking all day, people would probably be like, shut the fuck up, I don't care about your cooking. Or like, oh, I want to know about your cooking. Like people just, because spirituality isn't a tangible
I got you.
thing. People are like, what is he talking about, man?
Yeah. That makes sense.
What are you talking about? Like,
that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, I see. All right. What time do you got? I don't have a time yet.
I don't know. It's like 12:15. I'm fine.
All right. So first, we're going to cut questions for a second. Let's hit some Larry Deville music. People want to hear it. And people want to know what Larry Deville's about. They're like, listen, he's talking to this Larry Deville guy. We don't even know what his music's like. Actually, matter of fact, he's posted his music a bunch of times, so I have heard it, but I don't remember. Like, let me hear Larry Deville. You pick the song. And is it something that anybody's heard yet, or is it unheard?
No.
Yes. ARvibes community, sneak peek, baby. You're welcome. Thanks, Larry.
I
love when we hear the new stuff. And by the way, I'm throwing Larry on blast, but it's not really thrown on blast. He has a ton of new music that he just hasn't put out yet. Like, I'm not just saying that as a friend. Like, he probably has maybe 50 songs. Am I exaggerating?
No, it's probably like 50.
Like, ready to go. Just beautiful songs just sitting there. And I'm like, but he's a smart man. He's got plans. He has strategy. He knows how he wants to do it. He makes awesome music videos too. If you haven't gone on his YouTube page yet, get on Larry. Is it just Larry Deville on YouTube?
Yeah.
Just Larry Deville. Awesome awesome videos as well for his music. How many music videos do you have? Like 4, maybe 5?
On the YouTube, there's only
Yeah,
like
like actual
3.
video, like not just the audio.
I have a bunch, yeah. I have a ton, but like on the actual thing, there's only 4. I'm trying to find the right song.
Yeah, you have Promise. You got Lay It Down.
Promise. Yeah. The Real Me.
Yeah, Real Me.
I'm releasing a couple songs soon.
Nice.
Where is this song? I'm shooting a video for this song within the next month. And it's actually for my friend that passed away.
Nice.
It's like he passed tragically and like suddenly. Like I got the call when I was at work. I just spoke to him the night before. I texted him afterwards and he didn't answer. And he passed away. So this song is about like the day of me finding out and like leading up to his burial and stuff like that. And we're gonna start shooting the video probably in 2 weeks for it. So no one's heard it before. My daughters think it's their favorite song because they say it's. I think you've heard it.
What's the name of it?
I haven't even named it yet. It's his name right now. Let me see. How do I change this?
Don't play it. Actually, start it. Actually, no, don't start it. I have to run to the bathroom. Don't start it yet. Talk to the audience real quick. Talk to the audience.
All right, here's this one. Oh, it's right there. What a bonehead I am. Yeah, so if you want to find my music, you can literally go on any platform. And I'm under Larry Deville. Just like this. Larry Deville. This is like hundreds of songs. Let me see. More songs. What else? New tracks. I'll show you all my handsome bitches. What's this one? Oh, just a stud muffin. Just a couple stud muffins. Just hanging out. Being a man dime. What's this one? Oh, that's from Something's Gotta Give with G.O.D. Yeah, but there's a lot of work coming out. That is a fire background, by the way. I told Alex that that's the one that he has to stick with, so let's make sure he rocks with that. And then hopefully he hurries up and gets away from going pee. Look at this typography that we had made for the View, the new video that I'm going to be releasing soon. The next video I think I'm going to be releasing. Let's get that out of there. The View. Kind of fire. That'll be cool. Maybe I'll just show you guys the View video real quick too. I will. Screw it.
Yeah, turn it up, bro. Turn it up.
Just excuse me while I'm taking a view. I gave a lot to get to where I'm coming from. And I'm just paying my dues. When I make it to the top, I see the view is amazing.
Ready, Al? This is my favorite part. Hey!
Nice.
That
So
was
I
just
went to the bathroom. What did I miss? That's a video. So your new song, you just said you didn't do a video yet, did you? That's not. Is that the new one?
no, that's something that I shot a while ago. That's gonna be coming out soon. The single and video. So hopefully not a lot of people watch it on here, or maybe hopefully everybody watches it. But hope everybody watches it later too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a song called "The View."
I was I've never seen that one.
No.
Nope.
Yeah, that one came out cool. I have so much stuff, dude. It's just like I want to get placements and I want to get paid now. So it's like,
So you can't play it.
no, I can play whatever I want. It's my music. I can do whatever I want with it.
True.
I've just been stockpiling it. I have a pretty cool idea for what I'm doing with it all. So everything will be available at once, probably, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
So I can't really elaborate on that because I'll tell my big secret. But
Is it?
that was,
I was just gonna ask you something. Is your secret something I'm not supposed to talk about? Like, not your music, but bigger than your music? Can I say it? After you just said, can I talk about a documentary?
oh yeah. That's
All right. Is that what you're doing with it? So Larry's also got a documentary he's been working on. I've seen, what was it, like a 20-minute clip of it, 15-minute clip? You showed me. You showed me a clip of it. It was pretty sick. It was like 15. Yeah, we were taking a ride somewhere.
I don't even know where it is. Yeah, that'll be out, and that'll be like there'll be more and more and more of that as well.
Yeah, and you'll see a lot of story. Like I'm assuming when you put out Lost in Boston, it's gonna have a lot of your new music too, like the actual.
Lost in Boston has taken on so many different forms, and like it's finally reached its point where it's like I know what it's supposed to be, and I wouldn't have known what it was supposed to be if I didn't sit on it all up until this point. So I finally have come up with the idea for it. It really all just came to me, and everything kind of happens for a reason. Like certain people showed up at the right times and like helped me get everything situated and started, and COVID actually helped me come up with the idea, and it'll be cool. I don't even know if I have it.
Before you hit play, I love that you just said that. I wasn't asking like to show. I was just telling people more about like you have actually, if you want to show it, that'd be cool. But if not, like it's coming out. My suggestion was we got to find a way to get it on Netflix for Larry, because I watch a lot of documentaries. I'm like, dude, this is like Netflix. The first thing I said to you, what was it? I'm like, bro, this is Netflix quality. What are we doing here? Why is it on Netflix? I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I watch documentaries all the time.
I don't even know what my documentary is, to be honest with you.
It might be. You just said something a second ago that I wanted to touch on. What did you just say before I jumped in there? Do you remember?
Oh, no.
It's all right. It will come back.
Oh, fuck.
I said, don't hit play. I said, don't hit play.
I hit delete.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Is that like bad? Is it
no, I'll be able to get it again.
Oh, delete this new music.
Dummy. I'm just trying to find the video of it, just for my own personal performance. Larry Deville, something's got to give. Think you are. Draft. No, that's not it. The view, that's not it. The bridge, no. I don't even know where it is. It's somewhere.
Actually, I have heard the view. I lied. I have heard the view.
That was the view I just played.
Yeah, and you're not going to be too happy about it, but when this gets posted, the quality wasn't great until you started turning it up. Like just the way it was recording from the computer, from the phone. You could hear it, but you couldn't really pick up the lyrics. And then when you turned it up, you could hear it.
People in my building would snap if I started playing music.
No, I know. I do know that personally.
Yeah.
You could hear it as you turned it up, but when you did, like you could hear it clear at that point. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's the way the phone picked it up. I wish I remember what I was going to ask you. It was a good question.
What about you, bro?
What about me?
What is your end game here?
My end game?
Yeah, like what do you want to do?
So, like ARvibes wise?
Uh-huh.
Like here in this interview or ARvibes wise? Like, what do you mean?
Like the whole ARvibes thing.
Yeah, okay. Well, my end game is pretty straightforward for me. It's, starting ARvibes is very simple in the beginning. It's become not complicated, but like as I keep evolving and growing in my journey, I get different ideas with it. But the main goal, honestly, is when I found my purpose in life, it was to help people. When I found and when I help other people find their purpose, like that's one of the biggest things is you found your purpose when you feel the most internal reward, that dopamine, serotonin. Like when you feel good doing things and it's passion and it's happiness and you can do it every day. Like you could make music every day if you had enough money to pay all your bills, could see your kids enough, if everything was perfect, you would sing all day, I bet, if you could. Like
no question.
No?
No question.
Oh, I'm like, well, so yeah, so for me, like, I had to find what I love doing, and it started with Jay Shetty. I'm gonna give him a shout out. Jay Shetty, I was in his life coaching program, and not my journey started there, but this part of it, and we went through a 1 hour program. It was you made diagrams and figured yourself out deeper, and in the end, I was like, wow, my purpose really is to help people. Nothing makes me happier in this world than when I can do something for somebody else and it literally makes their life better. And I'm like, how can I make that my life? And I started just brainstorming ideas, and it's like when you're writing music, it became a creative thing. What can I do creative to help other people? And the ARvibes started. The end game for me is help as many people as I can. And I want the biggest goal for ARvibes is I want to have a big influence in bringing world peace in before I die, or even after I die. I would love to hit 90 years old, 99 years old. I tell everyone I'm going to do 100, and like right before that 100, be like, wow, like world peace is here. Like, wow, like there is no bad in this world anymore. Like what happened? Like so many people know how to be happy. So many people know how to live their purpose. So many people know how to beat depression when it comes in. Because like you said, everyone faces it. It comes in no matter what. It's how you handle it. And a lot of people don't know how to handle depression and anxiety and bad things in life. And that's why they get stuck in life. And I don't like seeing people suffer. So again, it's be a huge impact in bringing on world peace and helping as many people as possible. When I help one person, I feel good. When I help two people, I feel good. And I'm more than confident ARvibes and the things that we've learned and the messages that we deliver are impactful enough where they can change someone's life. If you just follow the content, the tips on meditation, the tips on flow state, just to me, like just understanding flow state changed my life. Just understanding how to meditate, and not only how to meditate, the benefits of meditating changed my life. So like for me, it's I guess taking all the things that changed my life to make life magic. Like life is literally magic for me. And say, how can I show everybody else how to have magic easily? And when I realized I could do that for people, that's what ARvibes is. The end game is help as many as possible, help younger kids not go through that phase of life is amazing, life sucks. Life sucks too. Maybe it can be amazing again, or it's definitely amazing again. I want to get rid of that middle ground. Like I want children to be prepared that life is going to get hard. It doesn't have to be horrible, but it's going to be real. Like you're in the everything's perfect phase, but just because of society, until we can break society, if that makes sense. Until world peace is here, we don't have to live the way we do. Everybody's going to go through it. So I'd rather.
What's world peace?
Huh?
What's world peace?
World peace to me is no war, no hatred, no greed with money. Maybe you need a way to have currency, sure, but we shouldn't have greed. You shouldn't be top 1%. Like when I learned a lot about Coca-Cola and Pepsi today from like day one, and when I learned about like what they really have done in the industries of like getting restaurants and stores, it's literally drug cartel shit. It's McDonald's, Burger King, all of it. It's drug cartel stuff, and they literally took drug cartel schemes and plots to control everybody and to have influence on everything we do. That it's hard to really right now envision a world with world peace, but it would, to me, it's much deeper. So I'll be honest, I'm trying to not be too deep on this interview, but like to me, it's way deeper. It's God and the devil. We're about to have a spiritual war here, in my opinion. I feel deeply about that.
I think you're just getting hip to it, bro. I think it's been around for a long time.
It's been around. All right, you get what I'm saying. It's been here. I'm trying to make it light for the audience. Like it's gonna be it's amplifying now from what I'm saying. You're right. It's been here our whole lives before we started. It's been here for thousands of years. But time. And that's the other thing. Let's go with time real quick. We only have time on Earth. Let's think about it. Our time is based off of the Earth spinning. Once you leave this atmosphere, what is time? So we don't have time. Time is literally irrelevant. We make up time. So, like, world peace is getting rid of all the bad. It's like we shouldn't have people molesting people. Why is that there? Because the devil is here. The devil tells you to molest the child. It does. And people like, everyone says, I don't know how someone could do that. I don't know how someone could do that to many different things. Murder, molestation, rape, drug addiction. I don't know how someone can make the choices to do those things. But another famous line from Jesus, for those who have not sinned, cast the first stone. We have all done stupid shit because the devil influences us and we make a choice. We don't all cross the deep end and molest a child or rape a person. We don't all do that. We don't all murder somebody. But we all do things when the negative influence comes in and tells us to do it. We know it's wrong. God tells us it's wrong. We do it anyway. Larry, that's world peace when God does his work. I feel like when people can learn how to live happily and everyone can live easily, like I feel the wealthiest of the wealthiest, the best of the best that run the world, teach their kids how to be happy, how to be loved, all the right things, but also teach them how to make the life they want. And then they make sure that poor people stay poor. They make sure that bad communities stay bad communities. They don't want everyone to be equal in the success realm is what I'm getting at. So like that deters world peace all the way. Religion causes religion is probably the biggest flaw in having world peace. You can't have world peace with religion because all the religions, and that's the other thing. I've read texts in all of them. They all are connected. They're all connected. Yet we all fight over which one's more real. Like I've met Catholics who hate Muslims. I've met Muslims who hate Christians. And I'm like, you guys are tapped. You all love God. And you're all like praised to be these perfect people, but you're gonna tell me you hate the other one? That doesn't make sense. But whole religions do it. You can't have world peace that way. It's impossible.
Yeah.
We need God. We need God to come down here and be like, this is what Earth is. This is how you live. If you do it wrong, it's horrible. If you do it right, it's easy. That's what Jesus tried to do, by the way. Jesus came down and was like, it's easy. It's magic. And then everyone's like, make him religion. And then ruined him. When he literally just showed humans how to be humans and love life. And we ruined it. I feel like that needs to happen again, but in a bigger scene, like with God. Like, literally come down and slap the shit out of everybody and be like, this is easy. This is really easy. You guys make this hard. You know? Mm-hmm. We live in the beautiful, like, we can see what NASA showed us from other planets. Is it not clear that Earth is the most beautiful thing we've ever seen? Like, what it can do all around? Why would we not enjoy this place and love it and be nice to it? Doesn't make sense.
You take for granted.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. It literally doesn't make sense. Like, the simple things of we need oxygen to breathe, yet we destroy rainforests to make more luxury for wealthy people. What? Mm-hmm. We need trees to breathe. Oh, it's fine. Okay. Okay. Sure. We don't need rainforests. You're right. That was a long answer, but that's where ARvibes is going. We're going to help as many people as we can, impact as many people. We're going to help bring world peace by showing people how to live how we live. We live differently, but we still live on good paths. Mm-hmm. If everyone lived on a good path, like if you just made the choice to say, I'm no longer going to do devil shit, bad shit, I'm just going to live on a good path. Sounds like it's hard. Sounds like it's crazy. It's not. One of my clients right now is a friend of mine. I don't even like calling him a client. One of my clients, a friend. He's quit drugs. He had a drug problem. Everything. He's like, he is so connected with God right now. The last time he called me and told me he screwed up and did drugs, he was crying so hard. He's like, bro, I don't get it. He's like, God won't leave me alone now. Why'd you do this to me? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, it's beautiful. He's like, it's good. He's like, but I tried to mess up. He's like, God was right there right away. Just like, what are you doing? And I was like, it was the most awkward feeling, but the best feeling I've ever had. And he's been clean now for 60 days. I'm proud of him. But the big thing is, once you really feel that connection, you get rid of the negative. Everyone can. If we all just lived with good intentions, the world would be perfect. We'd have world peace. It sounds hard. Can't get everyone to think that, but we can, Larry. It's got to start in schools. It's got to start at home, and it has to start with people knowing that it's real. That's the other thing. If I tell you that law of attraction is real and you can manifest anything you want in life, and you can tell God to send you a sign and you'll see it, if you can't believe that, it's never going to be a thought in your head. You literally have to know it's real. You know what I mean? Like, and that's hard. That's hard. The big answer.
I'm glad you said it though.
Yeah, it's hard.
It gives you a chance to like talk about it and say it out loud, so you can kind of like rethink what your purpose here is.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've been thinking about it the other day, and it's been hard to accept because I know I can still teach people. And my buddy Mike was here the other day, and he's like, "Bro, you know what someone just told me today?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Someone told me I gotta be a preacher." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "I felt it through my soul." I'm like, "You know, it's weird. The last 3 times I meditated, God's like put that message into me. He's like, just talk about me and show people me, and their life will be perfect. And you know that." And I'm like, "I know." He's like, "If you can really make them feel me, their life will be perfect." I'm like, "I know." He's like, "Let's just do that then." And I'm like, "No, ARvibes is my thing." But it keeps reminding me I can do both, and I keep trying not to tie the two. So that's the problem I'm having in my head. But I'm trying to reevaluate the purpose because they're both my purpose. Like, I know for a fact during my 3rd awakening, a big purpose of my life is to talk about God for sure. He needs me to do it. He wants me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I make people feel it. Like, I've done it in part. Like, people literally after, like, "I'm getting the chills. Oh my God, my whole body's tingling." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, that's how it works.
It's good that you have that.
It's beautiful. You had it before me. And you know what? And that's where I want to tie in that you had the Catholic upbringing. So you still had something. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to say this because I said it the other day to my buddy. Tell me how this sounds to you in general. We're born where the body, like you said, mind, body, soul, machine, energy comes in, the soul comes in, you're alive. You come out of that sack where you're breathing underwater because of the placenta and the umbilical cord, but you're underwater and you don't need oxygen at all. It's pretty impressive. Actually, oxygen comes from the placenta that attached to the sac. I get what's happening. So don't question me, women that have had babies. I'm trying my best to describe what happens. My point is, this human comes out and now takes a breath and starts screaming. I have a child. Larry has 2 children. We've seen this. Baby starts yelling. What happened? Where am I? What am I doing? Calm down. Here's mommy. Baby calms down most of the time. It's soothing. It's comforting. That is an oxytocin release. That is a bonding moment. The chemical automatically comes from mom and baby. Larry, you know this about dogs. Same thing works with dogs. That first bonding moment with dogs is always unbelievable. Like, oh my God. You both release oxytocin. That's lifelong. And where I'm going is, like, you're born, you come in, and all you have is God, no devil. This is my view. This is what God told me. Tell me how it rings with you. You have God, and then the world. That's it. So you're learning the world. You're learning how to talk. You're learning what's hot and what's cold. You're learning what's loud and what's quiet.
Yeah, I think that's what consciousness is.
Yes, you're conscious. You get what I'm saying? You're fully conscious as a baby. You're not subconscious. You can't be. It has to be developed. So it's developing every time you learn something. You're like, that's scary. That's good. That's bad. Now, Larry, you live in a farm, and your family has every animal around you. Imagine being a 1-year-old infant, and all of a sudden a pig comes over and starts licking your face. That's probably horrifying. Think about it. What the hell is that thing? Or maybe that makes somebody love animals because it didn't scare them at all. Like, so the subconscious built. But here's where it gets weird. This is what I'm seeing. And then all of a sudden I feel like God never leaves. God's that intuition. We all have an intuition as a kid. And I can remember being a little kid. We've talked about this. You can remember being a little kid. A lot of people can't remember being a little kid. I remember I always had this connection. The same connection I have now that I give to God, and it's beautiful, and it's amplified by 500. I had when I was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but I didn't know what it was. There was just a little voice in my head that we played games and we talked. And he said, do this. And then good things happened. And I was like, holy shit, that was cool. And he was like, ha, it's fun. And I'm like, it's awesome. All good things. But then the bad voices start coming in. But here's what people don't understand. It's yin and yang. I got a yin yang on the other wall. They sound the same. That's what's fucked up in this world. They sound exactly the same. So that voice that guided you your whole life as a baby, but your beliefs and your parents and the religion you learned and everything else guiding you to, takes away what God is. Because now religion taught you what God, and now Jesus is God. If you brought it that way, Jesus is God. Okay, so this thing that's been talking to me is not God. Okay, so you automatically cut that out of your mind. My intuition's not God. God is this guy. I got to worship this guy. He came to earth as God. Okay. But then you get to a point where you're like, this sounds crazy because you're a kid and it doesn't make sense. You go away from it. The devil comes in with his little voice, and you think it's the voice you've always heard. And he says, try the drug. It's all right. Yeah, go fuck that girl. Look at her ass. What? God doesn't talk like that. But you keep going with it and going with it. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'll give you money if you do this. You can have that if you do this. And you just keep going. But the beautiful part is God comes back. God's never gone. The only difference is you hit a certain age and the devil comes in. That's what I feel deeply. And that's where depression comes in, anxiety, everything. It's natural. And you got to learn to listen to God again. That intuition saying, no, that's bad. And you know it's there. I know it's there. We all have made bad decisions and knew the intuition told us not to first. We all know it. So many people deny it, like that's not real. You're going to tell me every time something horrible is happening in your life, you didn't get signs or something saying, don't do it, and you did it anyway? And people are like, well, I guess. What do you mean you guess? Everyone goes through it. God's there telling you stop. And then finally, you can have a rebirth, Larry, a start over, like you said. And I think that really happens, either midlife crisis or the awakening. I think that's what the awakening is. It's that gap of, what are these two different voices I'm hearing? One always tells me bad, the other one tells me good. Oh, it's like the devil and the angel on your shoulder. That's weird. And you start to learn and embrace, and then you really trust one. And if you do, life skyrockets. That's how I look at it. Like, you got to know that it's the process, that the devil's always there, God's always there. And when I look at music and the industry, forget about it, Justin Bieber, Britney Spears, when I just listen to their lyrics, I'm like, they're literally telling everyone how they're fighting both of them. They're literally like, I love God, but then this guy's saying, yeah, I'll go do drugs. I'll sit lean. It's not like, why are we teaching the kids that? It's the devil, and the devil's winning in that industry. But it's changing. World peace is coming.
But that's the beauty of music too. And like, I don't think that you should take things so literally, because music is such a creative, figurative thing. You know what I mean? It doesn't like, I think like me and you were talking about Kurt Cobain the other day. Like, Kurt Cobain was one of my like biggest influences. And I really like got even more into Kurt Cobain when I got separated and started realizing stuff about his personal life that I didn't know. But like, you mentioned like lyrics that Kurt Cobain had written, and he was and is like still spoken about as like one of the best like and most cryptic lyricists in music like ever.
Yeah.
But like, to think that like it's just like understanding God, like to think that you really understand God is almost ignorant in a sense, because like no one understands what this shit is. This is just like your perception and what makes the most sense to you. But like the lyrics that people read, it's so easy to misconstrue them. And if you want to believe them to be something, like you can go down whatever rabbit hole you want and believe that. And like Kurt Cobain even is an interview that I watched recently in like 96 or 98. No, I don't even know what it was. It was whatever. But
was it on a boat, like on the outside in like Canada or something?
Yeah, and he's talking about it, and they're like, well, what do these lyrics mean in this, and this? And he's like, that's the funny part about it. He's like, I don't really write the lyrics to mean and get the, you know, conceive the way people do. He's like, this is just people's interpretation of what I'm saying. He goes, a lot of the time, that's not really what I'm getting at. And it's just things that I jumbled together like over time. So, I mean, a lot of songs have that message where it's like you look at them and you're like, this dude is literally scared to tell me something, and this is a cryptic message, and you know, it's all up for interpretation, and that's the beauty of it, I think.
Yeah, and I love that you brought that up too, because I remember watching the interview, and like he says, he's like, I just make it, like it just comes, the music comes, I just do it. And he's like, and he hated the thing I love about him the most is he hated. And this is where I bring God and devil much. Like, he hated Not Another Teen Spirit. He hated doing that song. He hated doing it live. Every time he did it live, he would do
Smells like Teen Spirit.
Huh?
Smells like.
Yeah, Smells Like Spirit. He hated doing that song live, bro. he hated it. And he in the interviews he said it, and he were in the MTV Unplugged, the last you see the acoustic. I know you saw the acoustic when he did. They didn't do that song, like they refused. And he never talked about it enough in the interviews I watched. Maybe you've seen more and know, but he always he wouldn't tell you enough about why he hated that song. I know it was his biggest hit to get him going.
No, it was a joke.
Yeah, it was a bad. Yeah, it started off on it was like spray painted on a wall, and they were making fun of him. And
they literally it's something about literally something smelled like Teen Spirit. I can't remember what it was.
They said he smelled like it.
Yeah.
It was something on the wall, and they're like, "Oh, Kurt smells like Teen Spirit." And he's like, "Ha ha ha!" And then it got in his head.
Yeah.
But I don't know. When I saw him perform that song live, it was creepy to me. I've seen Kurt Cobain live in many different scenes, and he. For me, it's harder to say. I saw very dark life, and then in the end, I saw very happy, positive, and then he died. It just didn't make sense to me. We've talked about that separately. We both think he was killed, but anyway, he literally went from very depressed to literally happy. People called him the Jesus man. All he did was talk about God, and then he killed himself apparently, as he found God. Okay, and he even said, "Cause I found God." When he's done with the devil, okay. All right. Actually, that song, the lyrics, bro, I go deep lyrics. I like it, I'm not gonna crack. And then it says, "Cause I found God." I think he's singing to the devil. He's like, "I like the stuff you try to do to me, because it's always pleasure and fun and nice, but I'm not breaking this time. I'm too strong. You broke me many times. I'm good."
Yeah.
You know that. That's how I look at the devil. The devil comes through love, too. God is love, and the devil knows that God is love, and the devil plays love. Yeah. That's the best way to get to us. We all fall to love. That's what kills us all and kills us all.
Yeah.
It's wild.
That was good.
Did you enjoy your first interview with ARvibes as an ARvibes?
Yeah, it was good.
Totally was on the fly. It was good. You're going to be on more anyway. You're going to need to be on more podcasts anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to need to make it happen. And Larry, lastly, you got to tell people where they can find you, your music. Yeah. Where can they look you up on online, social?
Every platform is Larry Deville, 617, or just find me at Larry Deville on any platform, whether it's YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, anything. And soon, Lost in Boston is going to be a website. So.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And anybody in the Boston, Somerville, Medford area that wants a beautifully done professional haircut and shave, where can they find you?
968 Broadway in Somerville. We're called 968 The Shop.
Yeah,
so COVID is making things kind of hard, so we're not really open. We're open, but we're not, and then we're not.
Time out. We got to talk signs. We got to talk signs before we end this. Remember I said I needed to ask you something earlier, and I couldn't remember what it was, and I said it'll come back? You just brought it back. Thank you. COVID. I was going to bring up COVID as everyone's so stressed about COVID and how bad it is. COVID is the biggest blessing in disguise, saying, find something you're passionate about and do it, and just see what happens. You're probably getting unemployment. I'm not going to lie. I am. People talk crap about it. Oh, my God, all these people on unemployment. I'm 30. I've never had it once in my life. I've been working since I was 14. COVID made it this way. I didn't make it this way. So people who are mad, I'm sorry. It isn't I did not make the world like this right now. COVID did. But my point is, COVID is a fucking blessing in disguise. You can take any passion you're thinking about right now. You get what I'm saying. Have you had more time to make music because of this? Mm-hmm. That's what I wanted to ask earlier. It's people are so stressed about. You got to find the silver lining in it. You got to look at it as what can I do because of this? Not, oh my God, life is horrible. This sucks.
In any situation. In any situation.
Yeah, exactly.
The one thing that I think I can take from this whole thing is that I've been such a stickler since I was a kid about working so hard, like head down, chomping at the bit, and I found way more time for myself. I didn't work today.
I know. We talked earlier. I was like, you're not working? I was confused. So it's Wednesday. You're like, yeah, took the day off. I'm like, what?
Not even. It's just I can't work. So it's but I don't mind it. What I'm saying, normally, I've never not been able to work, but not working would have bothered me. And now I don't work, and I'm just it's okay. It'll go back to normal at some point.
Yeah. And if not, you got more time to do things that make you happy. Well, you can.
Heal.
Where'd you go?
I dropped you.
All right.
All right.
So guys, you guys know where you can find Larry. Larry, love you as a brother. Appreciate you for jumping on. I love that we went not scripted too. If there's anything we didn't cover, we are doing a second interview. We'll talk about it. On
Cool.
top of that, I'll be sharing all your new content once it comes out. So
Thank you.
make sure everyone sees it.
Thank
And
you, dude. I wish you guys the best of luck too. I'm glad to be part of the whole movement, but I'm also glad to see you do your own thing and be happy.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing how many people find your music.
Yeah, let's hopefully I get some more streams and plays.
You know? Did you want to throw one more song in there? Or are you ready to get out of here? Look at you. You're going to bed.
I am. I'm beat. I got to get up early.
All right, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, bro. No
And
problem. It was nice talking to you.
have a good night. Thank you guys for watching. Even though it's not live, we're going to pretend it's live. Thanks for watching.
It's live.
Later, bro.
Later, bro.